Hey everyone, so this is Grey's Anatomy season 13, episode 4, called Falling Slowly. So the episode, begins with Alex opening up the Daddy Duquette's clinic, and then gets flack from the nurse that works there, um, for talking to Meredith, um, and everything. Um, so Then Amelia is seen talking to Owen in bed about church and what they're going to say to their children about it. Um, Riggs then tells Meredith that they should, hang out, but she refuses to do that. And I'm just like, I don't know. I'll try to save my rant about Meredith and her lack of coming clean until the end, but I don't know if I can because I'll try to, uh, but I don't know if that's gonna work. Anyway, so Ben sees Jackson, sleeping as he's standing up, um, because he's always getting up when Harriet wakes up instead of letting April get up when uh, because even though her incision has healed, um, because he wants to let her recover. Meredith and Owen then ride up to the helipad. Owen complains about Amelia getting something stuck, how she always gets something stuck in her head and she not letting it go. Maggie then wants to go to the pit, but then realizes Riggs is going to the pit as well and go somewhere else. Um, Polly and her husband were involved in a flying accident, and her husband is a paraplegic apparently. Um, Alex then has a patient who has an abscess on his foot, and he's about to, drain it, but he's not. I mean, in order to drain it, he has to use a scalpel, and he's not allowed to use a scalpel, so he has to put in a request for someone from surgery to do it. Miranda then informs DeLuca that internal reports are done, and he will get a copy as soon as it's mailed out. He's not allowed to discuss it inside the hospital, even though the court proceedings are still going on, or because the court proceedings are still going on. Uh, Amelia is concerned that is seen, being concerned uh, not knowing enough about Owen, and Owen not knowing enough about her. And for example, Owen knows how old she was when her dad died, but she doesn't know how old he was when his father died, or even how Owen's father did die. Riggs hears this whole thing, and he's like, Owen was almost 10 when it happened. And so Amelia's like all surprised that Riggs knows how old he was, but she doesn't. April then goes to I can't remember what that room is called, but in the hospital where the doctors can sleep during shifts, or she either sleep during shifts or between shifts or whatever. Can't remember what that room's called, but she goes to that room where Edwards is there and is about to go to sleep before she goes on her next shift on Amelia's service. And April just keeps talking and talking and talking about how it is to live in Jackson's house or apartment or whatever. Edwards, tells April that she needs to get sleep before her next shift. But that is by the time she says all that, it's too late, and April's already asleep and snoring. That was so fucking hilarious. It's like, uh, one thing that well, I'll keep that for later. Never mind. Owen then wants to do surgery on Polly, but Meredith and Riggs both say that Polly should be monitored since there is really no clinical reason to take her up to surgery. Owen then complains to Amelia, but she says that he was outvoted by two smart surgeons. And then she continues to press on him further about things she doesn't know about him, but he doesn't want. He kind of is like, what? Please stop. So she just like, okay, fine, we'll drop it. It's like she just drops it unexpectedly. Later, Arizona tries to talk to DeLuca about the child, but he tells her that he can't because of Chief's orders. Um, Then Alex tries to get out of work to meet his lawyer, but his boss is like, no, you can't leave. Uh, then he confronts the college alcoholic that came in earlier, and or what looks to be a college alcoholic. Then Weber steps in to to do the good cop and everything. But it kind of backfires on him a little bit. So, um, anyway, so Meredith brings Polly's husband to see her and finds Polly's abdomen rigid and in need of surgery. Once in the OR, Owen pretty much does and I told you so. Um, but Meredith's like, we could fight about this shit later. Let's just get her patched up. Weber then tells a college student that he told himself that he was fine, and he knew his body in before he went into AA. And she figures that they're trying to do good cop, bad cop on her. And so when she tries to leave, Weber touches her, and then her elbow pops out, or not elbow, shoulder pops out. Miranda then is told about this whole thing and tries to find out what happened with the girl, and it's kind of like a whole mess. Joe then proposes to DeLuca that they talk to each other since they don't have anyone to talk to, but about the whole situation, but they want to talk about it. Um, Jackson is then seen complaining to Ben while doing surgery about April staying with him, and Ben tells Jackson that it was pretty much the same exact situation with Jackson staying with Ben and Miranda. Uh, so Ben's like, just tell her what's going on, tell her what you're feeling and everything. Just tell her already. So that's Ben's advice to Jackson. Um, Arizona then says to April during her appointment, move out on doctor's orders. Um, Joe is then the surgical consultant who is called to join the abscess, and she's mad that she finds out that it's for a patient of Alex's, and I'm just like, girl, like she's making it so hard for me to want to defend her anymore. It's like she's making it so hard because the entire last season I was in her fucking corner. I was in her corner the entire season. I was in her corner the entire season. I was in it. I was defending her, and I was defending her in the Facebook comments on the Facebook page for Grace Nanny. I was defending her till my last. I was just defending her as much as I could because I understood where she was coming from, or I felt like I empathized with her about where she was coming from. I empathized with her, and I was trying, and I could understand her perspective. So I was trying to, just defend her the entire season last season. I was trying to defend her as much as I could, and then this whole thing with DeLuca just completely undid that. It completely undid it. It like completely undid it. I was just like, girl, like if you hadn't not told, if you had not kept your secret from Alex, he wouldn't have jumped to conclusions. He wouldn't have jumped to conclusions that you were trying to sleep with DeLuca. Like he wouldn't have, like we wouldn't have. He wouldn't have jumped to fucking conclusions. He wouldn't have jumped to conclusions. Yeah, it's his fault that he decided to go a step further and beat up DeLuca. But I mean, you fostered you fostered the environment for him to jump to the conclusion that you were trying to sleep with DeLuca. And then further later on, that DeLuca was just trying to take advantage of you, was only taking advantage of you, and that you had no participation in it. So you fostered this whole distressful environment in the first place. You fostered that whole entire thing. And if you hadn't done that, he wouldn't have jumped to conclusions. I mean, yeah, he shouldn't have beat up DeLuca, but still, I mean, come on. Like, I mean, now she's like, yelling at Alex in the clinic saying, "Oh, you're only the only reason why you're calling me down here is to get back at me or whatever." I'm like, "Girl, that's not why he's doing it. Like, why the fuck do you think his ass is in the clinic? Like, why the fuck do you think his ass is in the clinic? Why do you think his ass is in the clinic? Why do you think he's in the motherfucking clinic? Like, why? Like, why do you think he's in the damn place in the first place? Do you think he's in there just for shits and giggles? No, it's because he can't pick up a damn scalpel and cut into people. I mean, if he was allowed to, he would be up in surgery. He would be upstairs doing surgery right now. He would be doing that. But no, I mean, it's because he's not allowed to pick up a scalpel and cut into people. I mean, he's not down there for shits and giggles. I mean, if he was allowed to fucking like cut into somebody, he wouldn't have fucking called you. Like he wouldn't have fucking called for a damn consult. He wouldn't have fucking called for one if he was allowed to fucking cut people. He wouldn't have done it. So I'm gonna need you to put on your logical skills into your damn surgeon in training and think about this shit logically. Like, why do you think he has asked called for a fucking consult? Like, what? I mean, I'm just like, nah, like, and you'd think that she would have heard about that information a lot. Like, she heard about him working in the clinic. I think they've mentioned that she's heard about, or I think they've had her uh, acknowledge the fact that she knows that he's working in the clinic. So you'd think that she would know why he was working in the clinic. I mean, all the reasons why he was working in the clinic, not just because of the fact that they didn't want him to working with DeLuca for a little bit. I mean, it goes deeper than that. I mean, they don't want him cutting into people. I mean, you think that she would know that by now, since she knows that his ass is working in the clinic. You think she'd know that too, but just like I really just wanted her. I just really wanted to punch her in the damn face or punch her in the fucking throat or something. Like, do something violent towards her. I'm just like, girl, you're getting on my last damn nerve. I am hoping that no, I'll save that for later too. I'll save that for later because I've waited long enough. Um, so after the whole encounter with Joe, Alex comes off to meet his lawyer. He gets on the bus and is about to go meet his lawyer when he has an epiphany and goes back into the hospital. He talks to Weber about this, and he thinks that she has a rare disorder, but wants Weber to tell her since he doesn't want to get in trouble with um, the person running the clinic anymore. Um, Amelia is still upset that she doesn't know much about Owen. Tells this to Edward and says, "You know what, Edward, I should have married you." I'm like, Amelia, stop, please. You're just acting kind of ridiculous a little bit right now because, like, come on, like, don't say something like you should have married Edwards. Like, you're not a lesbian. You're not a lesbian or bisexual. So stop right there. uh, anyway, so Weber and the nurse tell the girl that she has this disorder or disease, and she's grateful, especially since according to her, Alex would never have figured that out. Girl, get your life. Anyway, Owen then tells Polly about what happened, and before she can leave, he wants to know when the anesthesia will wear off because she can't feel her legs. They find out that the dissection that occurred severed a nerve in the L4 vertebra. I think that's what it was, the L4, and now she'll be paralyzed for life. Owen then yells at Riggs and says that if they had gotten surgery sooner, they could have prevented it. But Riggs is like, you know what? No, they couldn't have known this. They couldn't have known this was going to happen, and that the dissection was going to permanently paralyze her. Um, Owen then leaves to tell Polly, and when he does, Meredith's concerned that Riggs only sided with her to get into her pants. Uh, and that's the only reason why they held off on surgery. And now why she's paralyzed. And Riggs is like, you know what? No, I didn't do this because I wanted to get into your fucking pet. I did it because the patient needed it. Um, DeLuca is then seen saying that no one will ever know if he and Joe talk about the trial since no one else is allowed to talk about the trial, whatever. Um, Meredith then brings Polly's husband to talk to see Polly, and he's like, I blame myself for Polly's paralysis, and since he got on the plane, but Meredith, tells him that it's not his fault. Uh, and then, as Jackson comes back home, he sees April uh, having gotten Harriet asleep, and he's like, they kind of have this like awkward exchange where he wants to go to his room to watch the game. She's like, why don't you come out here to watch the game? The TV's bigger, and I can put Harriet in her crib, and he's like, you know what, stop. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells around you. Uh, and April's like, well, what do you think I've been doing? And so she suggests that she moves out since she's pretty much healed. But Jackson's like, I don't want you to move out, and she pretty much agrees. Back at home, Owen and Amelia are back in bed, just laying in bed, and she's reading a book. First she comes back in while he's in bed, and she kind of lays down after you know saying goodnight and everything while he's reading a book, um, and no one's like, well, you know what, you can tell me anything, and she's like, I know, and so like a few seconds later, she's like, she tells him about Ryan, and him dying from an overdose, and Owen reveals to her that he almost killed Christina, when he uh, was having a nightmare, and he didn't realize he was choking her until after the fact, after he was had started choking her. Uh, so yeah. Uh, so Meredith is before I go on to that, I'm glad that they're kind of opening up to a little bit more to each other, um, and I'm glad that they're sharing with each other and are able to tell each other things um, and all that. So now on to Meredith, telling Riggs that she can't be more than just colleagues with him, because she's always thinking about what he may be thinking about her, um, and so they just need to be friends and stuff. So Maggie's like walks in on them and is talking about the two and assumes it's they're talking about uh that they're talking about her and Riggs. And Meredith lies and says and stuff like that. Um, Alex is then kind of putting things into place in the clinic before he leaves. When Meredith comes in and says, and he's like, he's still thinking he's going to jail. Um, and she's like, and you're not going to jail and everything, and yada yada, and that's the last of the episode. Now, on to Meredith. Waited long enough. Waited 18 minutes now. Um, I am really, really tired of Meredith. I get that the show is called Grey's Anatomy, but that does not give her the fucking right to be shitty and and to just a bad person to Maggie. It doesn't give her the right to do that. Just because it's called Grey's Anatomy doesn't give her the right to fucking do that. I mean, I get that she may be confused, but I mean, can she, like, figure out what she feels for Riggs after telling Maggie? I don't know. It's like you'd think that she would have, like, figured this shit out by now, because it's been a couple weeks, because it's like, I mean, it's been a couple weeks since, like, it's been at least about a month since uh April's been in was taken into the hospital after Ben uh did a an emergency C-section on April. It's been about a month since she's been out the hospital. April's been out of the hospital, and it's and her incision's been, you know, closed. Like her incision has been healed since she's been out the hospital, and I would say about a month and a half since like everyone's been out the hospital and her incision's been healed and stuff like that. It's been about a month and a half. So it's been a while. So why the fuck can't she figure out what the hell she feels about Riggs by now? I mean, why? I mean, I just, I really, why hasn't she figured it out by now? Why the fuck? I mean, I don't care if she's trying to figure out what the fuck she feels about Riggs. Why hasn't she figured it out by now? I mean, that's not a good enough reason to not be a shitty person. I mean, she's being a fucking shitty ass person right now. She's being a fucking shitty ass person. She is, and I'm so tired of it. I'm so fucking tired of it. I'm so tired of it. I really am. Like, I mean, just because it's called Grey's Anatomy doesn't give you the right to be a fucking dick to everybody. Doesn't give you the right to fucking do that. If this is real life, everybody would fucking like. If this was real life, everybody would fucking be all over her ass for not saying anything to fucking Maggie about this shit already. Everybody would be fucking all over her ass right now. Everybody would be. Everybody would fucking be all over her ass for not saying anything beforehand. Everybody motherfucking would be. Everybody would be. But because it's Grey's Anatomy, she gets a pass. Like fuck no. Everybody else is torn apart for shit that they do. Every other character is torn apart for what they for whatever the fuck they do. But because Meredith's supposed to be the fucking star of the damn show, she gets a pass. Fuck that shit. I don't care. She deserves to be criticized just like everybody else. I don't care if she's a fucking star of the damn show. I don't care. She deserves to be criticized. I mean, no. I mean, I personally hope that now everybody in the fucking hospital finds out that she lied to Maggie about liking Riggs, or didn't tell Maggie about liking Riggs, and she's the one. I hope they find out that she's the one that told Riggs to reject Maggie's date proposal, and then, you know, gets branded as the two-faced person in the entire hospital. Nobody fucking talks to her again. Because I hope that's what happens. I hope she gets blacklisted by everybody else in the hospital, and you know, gets labeled a two-faced liar. The two-faced liar by everybody in the hospital. Nobody talks to her again. Because I'm tired of fucking ass and feeling like she's. I'm just so tired of her self-righteous behind. Like, I'm so tired of it. So fucking tired of it. And honestly, if she dies by the series finale, I would not be surprised if she dies. Because I'm so tired of her and her bullshit. I'm so fucking tired of it. Like, she literally fucking said that she wouldn't lie to Maggie anymore. She's doing it. I don't care if she is confused about what she feels for Riggs. It doesn't give her the right to be fucking shitty. It does not give her the right to be shitty. It does not give her the right. And I'm not gonna let up on her just because she happens to be fucking star of the damn show. No. I ain't gonna do that. Ain't gonna motherfucking do that. So she needs to fucking get her damn life and get it quick before she ends up getting, you know, getting in trouble far beyond what she can repair. So yeah, I'm thinking it's not gonna end well anyway. Regardless, I think it's not gonna end well. And Maggie's gonna find out whether Maggie's gonna end up walking in on Riggs and Meredith kissing, and Maggie's gonna find out that Meredith was the one that told Riggs to reject her date proposal. So I don't think it's gonna backfire royally in Meredith's face. So I don't think it's gonna fucking happen. So and I'm not gonna be that mad when it happens either. I'm not gonna be that fucking mad because she deserves it. To me, she deserves it. She fucking deserves it wholeheartedly. I'm sorry, but I think she fucking deserves it. Just like Joe deserves to have her ex-husband or her husband come onto the show and reveal that she's still married to him and that he was an abusive piece of shit. So just like I think Joe deserves that, I think that's what Meredith deserves, to have Maggie, like, get in trouble with Maggie. So that's what I think Meredith deserves. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Next week on Grey's Anatomy, unlike SVU, Criminal Minds, and Chicago PD, uh, it's coming on next week, and Amelia thinks she's pregnant, but she doesn't know for sure. Um, so what I'm thinking is that she's gonna think she's pregnant, but she's not actually pregnant. I don't think they're gonna write her Katerina Scorson's pregnancy into the season. I don't think they're gonna write it in there, even though she's actually pregnant. I don't think they're gonna write it in. I think she's gonna think she's pregnant, but she's not. So that's what I'm thinking is gonna happen. So, uh, that is all I have to say about that for predictions next week. Uh, well, I'm hoping that Maggie finds out that Meredith lied to her yet again. Not just about one thing, but about two. Uh, and so I think I'm hoping that she's gonna find out tomorrow, next week. But my gut feeling is that the writers are gonna, if the writers have been putting it off this long, they're gonna keep putting it off as long as they can. Uh, but yeah, anyway, so I'm thinking that's what I think is gonna happen. That's what I'm hoping will happen next week, is that Maggie finds out about everything next week. But who knows? Um, that said, hit like if you like this episode, or this video, hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I will see you next week on Grey's Anatomy. Bye!